Well, hello, Luke.
Hey, David.
We are recording. I was going to say live. We are recording live, but it is a recording. Here we are with another episode of Becoming Our Agecast. I'm David. This is producer Duke. And today we are talking about gratitude, kind of a topic we wanted to discuss. And we mentioned yesterday we wanted to discuss. I guess I'll just kind of kick off unless you have something you want to start with.
No, I think I'm happy to just follow your lead.
Cool. Well, good. I think it's very natural for us as humans to kind of take our circumstances for granted. And gratitude is such a key way to reset what our assumptions are about what our life is, right? Reflecting on the things that we get to do, the things that we have, and how good we have it. And human beings are designed to strive for more. Like, let's go get more. Let's go take on the next thing. Let's constantly be improving. And that desire for constant improvement is good. However, there are times in your life where you're going to stagnate or backslide in some areas of your life or multiple areas of your life. And I would say, especially during those areas, during those times, but even just normally, taking a moment to reflect on what you have and what you've had is a really, really wonderful way to set up your psychology to be better overall. So, do you have any commentary on that before I go forward?
No, I think especially here in the West, we're so wealthy and privileged and have not known any other life that it can be very difficult to even have gratitude for those things unless you've experienced other parts of the world. And I think so sometimes like travel can be such a huge piece of that. I know it was for me. I went and spent a couple weeks in Haiti in 2011, and that was like a huge. Not that I was blind to the suffering of the world, but it's still something different to like see it in person and just see how these people live, how little they have compared to what I have, and how happy they are with it. We think we need so much of our creature comforts, and the reality is that like life has never been this easy in history for any of our ancestors. We make up our own problems to to make our existence a struggle compared to just the struggle of finding food the next day. I mean, you see people out on the street, they're making in Haiti, they make these like mud pie things that they eat that is just it's literally like mud with some nutrients that's sprinkled in like a powder form.
Oh, just to
And
give
it's
them
just
enough
something
mass to feel like they've had a meal.
it's just to fill their bellies. It's very little nutritional value, but is to alleviate. It's incredibly cheap and it alleviates the pain somewhat of feeling like you're starving in your belly.
Yeah.
For like the really destitute, poorest of the poor. They have actually a word for what these cakes are. I don't remember what that was anymore, but I saw people making these things. Like it's crazy. Because I'd heard about it before, but it's still again something else to see people and to see people's houses built literally just on top of each other, rickshaw like lean-tos on top of each other, and just very precarious. And you see that, and you're like, I understand how an earthquake here could have just killed so many people. It was like 70,000 people or some ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because the
a
infrastructure
building
is not
collapsed,
designed for it. Yeah.
it takes on entire generations of people, like the families on families on families, and like it's easy for me when with my house. I don't even have that big of a house. I think it's only like 1,500 square feet or 1,300.
Mhm.
Um, Pretty small by a lot of American standards, middle class at least. But this is probably like, I remember we were building houses for people there. There was like multi-generation family homes. There was mom and dad and kids and their parents
Yeah.
in a room like the size of our bedroom in here is the entire house. Um, and they would just stack on top of each other. It was just a place to shelter them from adverse weather and heat, essentially.
Mhm.
That was all it was for, but they were so grateful to have it. And they when they were living in tents
Yeah.
and things from the after the hurricane and after the hurricanes and the earthquakes has destroyed so much.
Yeah.
So
Well,
coming
man, I
back to
mean,
the US and seeing people complain about like they always like, oh, first world problems, oh, but like it's kind of as a joke, but like
yeah.
it really is. Like it really is. It's nothing.
Mhm.
And we need like the lack of gratitude for the things we have is it's very hard to reach without experiencing what how the other half lives, so to speak, how the rest of the world
Yeah.
fights to survive.
I agree with you absolutely, and that is the extreme end of experiencing what we take for granted, right? And I've had similar experiences in Eastern Europe in the '90s, and then also a couple places I've visited in Asia. Um, However, there are, if people say, well, I can't travel because I don't have money to travel, and you're only saying this from a point of privilege. Not exactly. I didn't exactly pay for those trips. But leaving that aside for a minute, um, you can have this realization of what you take for granted by going camping for a couple of days. Man,
Yeah.
you are grateful for that hot shower. You are grateful to have an actual toilet, right? Um, there, there are lots of creature comforts that are easy to take for granted. And I think once you start to break those things down intellectually in your mind, right, it is not a given that you have electricity every day. And boy, what a nice thing to have, right? If you are sitting here watching this, you probably have some free time. You might be watching it during work, but sure, you probably have a little bit of free time. And that free time that you have where you're not desperately fighting to make food for your family, that's a bit of a luxury that you can be grateful for. If you have an opportunity to spend time learning new things, thinking about ideas that broaden your horizons and make your world new, that is a thing to be grateful for as well. So, yeah, I like that approach to break down what are your exact assumptions? Why do you have those assumptions? And how easy would it be to be thankful for the things that we have that are very simple? There's all the individual things, the people who are in your life, the friends and family that you care about. And if you're actually grateful for them, how are you going to treat them? Right. That's a key piece too. Um, so one
I think
when
so much of
when
gratitude is just putting yourself outside of your normal circumstances and trying to
right.
decenter yourself in a way and think about how other people live, how you might live.
Mhm.
Even thinking about things like how people lived in the past.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself outside of your it's a mental exercise, but you're putting yourself outside of your current circumstances and imagining how other people, but you have to actually take the time to do that. It doesn't just do it. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. I would drive my team a little bit crazy sometimes because I did these gratitude exercises, and sometimes people would come and interrupt those. So this is something I would do early in the morning when I was feeling very stressed out, or when I was realizing that I took something for granted in my life, I would sit down and go, look how privileged I am to work for this company. Right. And this is especially when, I'm frustrated. I'm not super happy with how things are going at work. I'm dealing with a particularly difficult situation. And I go, man, I am really grateful that I am in the position to be able to do this. And I am in the position where I get paid to do this. I have the opportunity to chase this down, and reframing difficulty as opportunity is one piece of gratitude. And then the thing that would really drive them wild is I would say things like, I am so grateful that I'm living here in America in this century. And that, by no effort of my own, I was born into a situation where I had the opportunity to get a good education, and I had the opportunity to, I have had a little bit of hunger. I've never been hungry, right? Not really. Not, you think you're hungry. It's so funny when kids say, I'm starving. And you've actually encountered people who haven't had enough to eat for a long period of time. It's difficult to interact in an objective way with that.
Oh yeah, I have trouble holding my tongue sometimes with my kids. They'll be like, "I'm hungry. What about this? What about this? I don't want that."
Yeah.
Well, you're not that hungry, because I know that if you were really hungry, you would not turn your nose up at these.
Right.
We have a buffet of food at this house, and it's not my job to pitch you on your meal options.
Yeah. And how wonderful is it that Americans, with some very small percentage exceptions, Americans just don't deal with starvation as a thing anymore. Because if you look historically, man, if you look historically from a disease perspective, we have it so good. So anyway, so having, when you allow yourself to roll in all of these assumptions of, well, this is just how life is, and I deserve, and I should get, and I want, sometimes it's really good to bring it back to, hey, I had a thing happen when I was 13, and I wouldn't be here anymore but for modern medicine, right? I had, I have a family where all of us survived our infancy. 100 years ago, that wasn't a thing, right? You would have a bunch of kids because they would die off. And there are still areas of the world where they struggle with that, and we should support them. We should try to figure out how to spread the wealth that we have here as much as we can, and to get out of our survival mindset of, I got to do this next, and look up and say how good we have it. I had two coworkers that were particularly on this topic. And so, yeah, one was named Tremaine, one was named Dave, but I'm going to talk about Dave for a second. Dave had this mantra that he would go over and over with his teams and with other people he bumped into. And it's a framing device that he talks about: get to versus got to. So it's tangentially related to gratitude. I get to do this versus I gotta do this, right? I get to go to work and solve hard problems, right? I get to be the one who stands in this stressful situation and figures out what to do next. I get to decide how I'm going to behave in a situation where I'm not being treated well. And how exactly I respond to it, right? I get to decide how I respond. I don't gotta go to work. I get to go to work. And for a lot of people, that's going to sound negative because they're going to say, but I have to work because I have to make money because I have to do this and this and this. Maybe, yes, right? And and if you reframe it in your own mind as I get to go to work. I have the ability to provide for myself. I have the ability to put food on the table and care for people around me. I have the ability to have a good time with my coworkers, hopefully, right? I have the ability to make somebody else's day better. Like you said earlier, it helps you decenter yourself a little bit and frame things in a positive light. And this changes your psychology. It changes the way you engage with the world, and it helps you to be more present in the moment, which is great for your relationships, great for accepting responsibility, especially when that responsibility is heavy. You can reframe it with gratitude. Look what I get to do. And that helps you to keep it up when things get tough. That helps you stave off despair. That helps you avoid negative cycles of, okay, what's coming in next? What do I have to do now? What do I have to do now? And kind of, what problem do I get to solve now? Whose day do I get to improve now? How do I get to learn now? And keep reframing as opportunity, keep reframing in a positive light. Gratitude really helps you to do that. And so I'd recommend everybody have a somewhat regular gratitude practice more than just Thanksgiving, right? Yeah. So that kind of hits the 4 points I wanted to touch on. You have a reaction to any of that? You have anything to add?
No, I think that's some good thoughts. I think for me, the thing that's interesting about gratitude is as a antidote to entitlement, because that's something I see a lot with my kids is that they often will they just take everything for granted. They take for granted that mom and dad are going to buy them this or that, or that they are going to have this or that, they take for granted even that they are going to have the option to pick whatever they want to eat whenever. I'm like, I've gone on mission trips where we just have, this is the meal. Like this is, or like even if you go to like a summer camp or something, this is what's being served.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, you have to eat something or you'll just be hungry all day. And like, you can't just say, oh, I'm hungry. I skipped lunch because I didn't feel like eating or I didn't want that food. That's the thing that's really been eye opening for me as a parent is seeing, I don't know if this has always been the case, but seeing like, it's not just, are you in the mood for that food? It's like, are you excited by that food? Are you excited to eat that food? Or else they can't, like they have to get excited about it or they are not interested. And it's like we have to have like a whole pitch, like Price is Right or something, like we're Vanna White. Uh, this is your meal. Like we're gonna plate it really fancy or something. Like I don't know. It's really weird. I'm like, uh, I don't remember being like that. I remember giving my parents a hard time about like, oh, I don't really feel like that for food, but I don't remember feeling like it has to be exciting. I don't know. But
So I'm thinking about this too. So do you recall when you were younger, your parents setting out food for you, right? And that was your supper. And if you say, I don't want this, they'll say, okay, it'll be in the refrigerator for you when you're ready.
something like that.
Yeah.
I was a pretty good eater. I was an athletic, active kid. So my mom she would try to make meals she knew that we liked. She wouldn't intentionally make food that the kids didn't like, and then just force you to eat it. But we ate a large variety of food. We weren't like picky eaters where it's like, I have several friends, so their kids are kind of like this too. It's like they eat two things or something, and like they'll if it's not chicken nuggets or hot dogs or something, like whatever it is,
Yeah.
whatever the thing is, like it's a bunch of different things, but it's like they are not open to trying different things. They are not interested in like it's the classic. Oh, I don't like spaghetti.
Mhm.
Like you just had spaghetti last week. Like
Yep.
but like well into adolescence that this is happening. Like that's something that I expect from like 5-year-olds. But like
Yeah. But that's a neater want.
happening more and more.
Yeah, that's a neater want thing, Duke. So because essentially, if they were hungry, whatever was offered to them, right? And this is the thing with my kids. This is the thing with my nieces and nephews, right? If you have access to a fully stocked pantry and you're allowed to graze, you can just have what you want when you want, and you're dealing completely in wants versus needs, right? And it's really difficult to be grateful when you're dealing in wants versus needs all the time. So you have to be intentional about that, right? If if you go 3 days without eating, and then somebody puts a wonderful meal in front of you, you are so grateful for that meal, right? But if you had breakfast and then a snack and then a lunch and then you go out to dinner, you can look at the menu, right? Adults can, right? It's not a kid or adult thing. You can look at the menu and be like, nothing looks good. Because you're not dealing in needs. You're not dealing in, it's a completely different deal. So it's harder to be grateful. And I just want to tag on just in case there's a lack of clarity here. You're mentioning your kids being in this brain space. This is the natural brain space. You're not after them. It's something we're trying to figure out as parents. How can we help our kids to navigate the natural state versus a healthier state, right? How can we help them? Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of perception is reality until that perception is completely dispelled, right? So how do you modify your own perception of reality to help you to live in a healthier, happier way? I would say that
comes back to gratitude.
Yeah, I would say that a gratitude practice, regularly going back and thinking about things to be grateful for, and thanking whoever's responsible for that, right? So, BOA is not explicitly religious per se, but I have somebody that I can thank for just about anything, right? But I can also thank my wife for things that she does. I can also thank my parents for the things that they've done, because fortunately they're still around, right? I can thank people I work with. I can thank people I have been able to enjoy, the fruits of their labor, what they do creatively, what they do mechanically. You can be grateful and thank people. And then you can also be grateful and thank God for the things that you've had access to. And that it's so good for you mentally and even physically to do that. So I'd recommend it. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm good. You want to throw a couple dad jokes here at the end? I have a spicy one for you today. Why are the Great Pyramids in Egypt? They were too heavy. They were too heavy to carry to the British Museum. Oh, that's spicy. All right. And then, did you know that Australia's biggest export is boomerangs? As it happens, it's also their biggest import. That one hurt a little bit.
That's true.
Oh, were we supposed to be dealing in truth when we tell jokes like this? Yeah, some of these jokes are winners and some of them are less so. But hey, let us know what you think. Click the algorithm buttons if you're liking what we do here, and we'd love to hear from you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.